Guys, welcome to the channel. So I'm in the truck today. This is my Silverado. It's a 2500 HD. It's a 2021. It's a custom trim. I've done several videos on this in the channel. Check out the playlist in the description if you're interested about this truck. But my last video I did on this truck was I was going through just how much I love the truck, because I really do. But I'm going right now to the Chevy dealer that's right by my house. I talked to them on the phone yesterday, and I'm talking to them about what they would give me as a trade-in for this on a 2022 3500 HD. I have the 2500, looking at the 3500. I'm really curious. It's probably nothing probably is going to come out of this deal, but I want to give you guys some information on what these trade-in values are, because I've actually never traded a vehicle into a dealer. I've always sold at private party, and that's usually the way to get the highest value. However, when you're looking at sales tax, so I live in Utah, there's sales tax, obviously. There's going to be a sales tax credit applied for the trade-in value of my truck towards the new vehicle. So the sales tax amount I have to pay would be very minimal. When we're talking about almost a $70,000 truck, like the sales tax can be, at seven and a quarter. It's probably close to $5,000 sales tax, probably $5,500. So I'm curious to see how this negotiation is going to go. I'm going to try to record as much of it as I can, and they'll let me, but what I'm looking for in the 3500 is 2022 Chevy Silverado 3500 HD LT trim, because you can't get the custom trim in the 3500s, so we're going LT trim. But I'm going with the Midnight Edition, and when you add the Midnight Edition, it adds almost $6,000 to the MSRP, because it includes the All-Star Edition as well as a convenience package as well. The truck I'm looking at has the convenience 2 package and leather and the gooseneck prep already installed, so the MSRP is around $69,500. I'm curious to see what they would give me for my truck. Now this truck that they have in their dealer, they don't have it on the lot, just like every other dealer in the country really doesn't have inventory on their lot. It's just you're buying a truck that's going to be shipped there. So it's been built, it's sitting in Flint, Michigan to be shipped out, so it should be here in Utah within a month, or less. 2 to 3 weeks probably. So I guess we'll see how it goes. Now, one thing that's interesting, this dealer charges is doing a market adjustment fee of $5,000 above MSRP. So I'm curious to see how the negotiation is going to go, to see if they'll go down on that, because I'm not paying $5,000 over MSRP for a truck. I'm not doing it. But if they can make up for it in what they're going to give me in trade-in, that's kind of how. I'll show you kind of the numbers that I'm looking at. But to give you an idea, I originally paid. I was into my truck around $61,000. Out the door. That was with tax, license, registration, and I could probably resell my truck for like $64,000. I mean, that's probably what the private market would bear for that truck. They also have on this dealer, on their website, they have a similar truck as mine, 2500 HD diesel. It's the work truck trim, so it's not even the custom. It's below the custom, with 10,000 miles. Mine only has 7,700 miles, and they're asking $68,000 for it, which is a high ask for a work truck Silverado with the diesel. I mean, they're asking a pretty big markup on that used. It's just a 2021. So if my truck is worth a little bit more than that one, you'd think they could give me at least 63 grand, right? If they're going to sell it for 69,000, right? I guess we'll see how the numbers work out. But I doubt they would offer me that much. I'd really have to negotiate it, but we'll see how the negotiation's going. So update on the dealership visit. So I went to the dealership. It's been a while ago, but I want to kind of finish the story and give you the update on how things panned out. So I go into the dealership. I was potentially looking at trading in my truck, my 2500 HD Silverado custom trim Duramax truck, on this new 3500 that the dealership had coming in within a couple weeks. So I go into the dealership, and the guy's like, okay, let's sit down. So we sit down. I didn't record any of this, but we sit down, we start going through the truck. He's like, okay, let me just make sure it's still available. I just talked to him the day before. He's like, yeah, it's available. Come in, we'll talk the numbers, we'll see if we can work out a deal. I'm like, okay. So he starts looking at the computer, and he goes away for 10 minutes. He comes back, he's like, hey, guess what? Bad news. I was mistaken. This truck, it was a 3500 LT trim Silverado with the Duramax. It was the Midnight Edition, which I really wanted. If I was gonna upgrade to the 3500, I wanted to go the Midnight Edition. And he's like, yeah, it was almost the same spec that I would order, and you know, it was nice. Comes back, he's like, yeah, that truck actually we took a deposit on that like a week ago, and the guy's, you know, gonna buy it when it comes in. I'm like, well, I just talked to you yesterday. You said it was available. So the guy was mistaken. He couldn't read in the computer like that it had a deposit. So anyway, so I didn't really get any kind of trade-in quote on my truck. I didn't really work out a deal on that. But nevertheless, this dealer had a $5,000 markup above MSRP. MSRP was close to $69,000, and they were asking $74 plus tax, registration, title, all that. So I wouldn't have paid that. I was like, I would if they would have been available, I would have only paid the MSRP plus tax. So we probably wouldn't have come to a deal anyways. But what happened from that experience was the dealer's like, hey, so if you want to order one, we'll order you one, you know, it'll be $5,000 above MSRP. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. I talked to the Chevy dealer that's 25 miles south of my house, and they said, yeah, we'll let you order one, and we'll just charge you the MSRP, which these days, that's about as good a deal as you can get, or that I've found, is getting it for MSRP. So I told them, like, hey, I'm not going to order from you guys. I'm going to go down the street because they'll do it for MSRP. And if you guys could match that, I'd order from you guys. But if not, I'll gladly go down the street. I have no problem with that at all. So after a few days back and forth, he's like, okay, if you order from us, we'll do MSRP. And the easy part of the build or the order process was I just went on the Chevy.com website. I went through the build. I built the truck exactly like I wanted, just like on the website. And then at the end of the build tool, you can just email or you can share the build with someone else. And so I just emailed my sales guy at the local Chevy dealer. It's sent over to him, and he ordered it just like that. He ordered it. Actually, it was ordered on the 3rd of March, 2022. And then I didn't go in until the 14th of March to kind of finalize the deal. So really what I did when I went in on the 14th, I put a deposit down. They asked for a $1,000 deposit, which I gave. And then one thing I thought was good is that he kind of went through line by line, and we made sure that it was all of the build exactly like I built it. So they didn't leave anything out. All of the options were available, went through the pricing. So we kind of worked through the details when I went in on the 14th. Now, fast forward to right now. Right now, it's April 10th. So it was ordered on March 3rd. It's now April 10th. And I talked to my salesman earlier, just a few days ago, probably 3 or 4 days ago, and the truck has been built, and it's already on a train from Flint, Michigan to Utah. That's where I live in Utah, near Salt Lake City. It's already on a train headed this way. So it took it was probably like 40 days, 35 to 40 days to build the truck and to get it on the train, which that's super quick these days. I mean, this is 2022 when there's huge delays. So I asked the guy, I'm like, so what's the deal? Is it just the spec I order, or are these 3500s getting built quicker? And he's like, yeah, we've just seen them being built a lot quicker. So it seems like GM's chip shortage, as far as build times, it might be picking up and might be a lot quicker than we've expected in the past. So that's good news. So I could be expecting this truck within the next 2 to 3 weeks. So by the end of April, I could have my 3500 HD Silverado Midnight Edition, which is awesome because I was thinking of even having to buy a kind of like a beater truck. I was looking at just like a high mileage beater truck to have because I thought I was going to have to wait till summer, July or August, to get this truck I ordered. And I just kind of, you always kind of need a truck sometimes, and I found myself needing one now that I don't have one. So I'm like, hey, maybe I should just buy some old beater truck and with high miles, cheap, and just get it and use it for the time being, and then sell it on or trade it in when the 3500 comes. But I'm not going to have to do that because I could have this 3500 in like 2 to 3 weeks, which is pretty awesome. So April 22nd is the estimated arrival of this. Now it can get delayed, and there can be, it can sit in the rail yard. Once it arrives at the rail yard, they have to get it on a truck and ship it to the dealer. So there's some logistics that still has to go through. But the 22nd, I mean, even that's less than a couple weeks away, even if it's another week, still by the end of the month, that's pretty awesome. So that's kind of the update on that. So I did end up trading in my Silverado 2500 HD for my 2022 Yukon that I had ordered back in November. I just picked up a few weeks ago. I'll leave a link to kind of that video below. But so I did trade in my Silverado, but it was for another vehicle. But so anyways, guys, thanks for watching the video. Stay tuned for more Silverado 3500 delivery updates. I'm going to go through the whole delivery, the dealership experience, the full walkthrough on the truck. Pretty excited about this truck. So stay tuned to the channel, subscribe, hit that thumbs up button, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks.